Hello and welcome to today's Desk Chair Fitness. I'm Jason, your host from San Diego, California, teaching for Christy today, who's my co-host. We're going to start in a tall seated position and we're going to walk it in place. Just keep it soft. I know it's probably feeling warm where you are. If it's not, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to start by warming up the hip and thighs, ankles, walk it in place. Move your arms with it. I'm going to do a combination of sitting and standing moves today. I really want to focus on some core work. I learned from last week that I needed a cushion underneath me for these chair workouts. Okay, so as we walk it in place or march it in place, we're landing on the front of our feet. Okay, heels stay lifted off the floor. And now we're going to plant our feet down and we're going to roll the shoulders back. So feel free to let your arms hang. Sit up tall to lengthen your spine. You can also bend your elbows. And we're rolling our shoulders up and back. What I also like to do is try one at a time. So alternating shoulder rolls. It just might allow a little more range of motion on each side. All right, and then coming up next, we're gonna do some alternating arm reaches. Just keep in mind, I'm going to be modifying one side for myself. So I'm going to show you a little bit first. So here, and then reach up with the other side. So go ahead and continue to alternate. You might see me rest one side every now and then. So what we're doing is we're combining a side lean with a high reach. So I want you to think about really reaching up toward the ceiling. So not only straightening your arm, but also lengthening through the torso. And notice how we're bending the waist over to one side. So just think long and strong. So we're getting some side bending action too. And then we're also reaching that opposite arm down toward the floor. All right. Let's go ahead and give it one more good reach here. All right, so next up, you have two options. You can either do arms across your chest or hands up by your head. We're going to keep our feet planted. We're doing some torso rotations. So here's one position. Okay. Option B, you can also do arms across your chest. The most important thing is keep your spine up tall, so we're not resting on the chair back for this. And then your feet and knees are comfortably wide enough so that you feel stable. There we go. All right, already feeling warmer in here than we started. All right, there you go. Twist. So working that core rotation, turning your shoulders with it, looking over to the side. Yeah, there you go. And just kind of comfortably let your breath come out. Twist. All right. And then next up, we're getting into back extension. I'm going to turn to a slight angle just so that you can see that we are folding from the hip. So you can keep your hands across your chest or once again up by your head with your elbows high. So in order to create that spine or back extension, we're trying to fold from that hip area as deeply as we can, but maintaining that long spine. All right, so think about not only coming downward, but also forward, so lengthen. Okay, a challenge to make this more difficult, to add resistance, is to place both arms up like a Y as you come down, so it'll look like this. I'm trying to keep my headset from slipping off, but here's what it looks like there. There you go, little adjustment here. Okay, good. So I just have the one arm up. Okay, you can also do both arms. Good. There you go, or you can keep it up by your head, touching. All right, so what that does with the arms up in a Y, it just creates that longer lever, which adds resistance. So even without adding additional weights in our hands, we can increase the load and the challenge on our spinal erector or back muscles, okay, by creating that long lever. Okay, you can also just stick to arms across your chest. So continue folding through the hip. There we go. Get a couple more of these. And one more. Okay, now we're gonna focus on more of a flexion. So for this, I'll turn so that you can see that we're gonna scoot to the front end of our seat as much as we can. Take our arms forward, and then we're gonna lean back, okay, just till your back touches ever so slightly and come forward. And you'll notice how I have my arms forward here. If you'd rather not do that, you can also keep your arms across your chest. So it kind of just gives you a target. So you can have your arms forward and just think about shooting forward. Lean back. And then same idea with your back extension. Start with your spine somewhat neutral. Feet stay on the floor. Let your breath come out as you rock it forward. And then if your feet come off the floor, it's not a big cause for concern. Just try to keep it planted. Okay, flex through the hip, tighten through the core, and then sit up with it. Good. There we go. All right, it's looking good. Let your breath come out with it. There we go. Some nice slow moves. All right, and then now we're returning to the center. So you remember we did our core rotations. We're gonna add a knee lift to this. So what we're going to do, so we started with a twist, right? Now we're adding knee lift up. So I want you to think about bringing your elbow toward your knee. So you're still rotating straight across, but you're rotating over to that high knee. There you go, good. Twist. And notice we're staying controlled. So less of a cardio pace, more of a sculpting pace. Think about as if you can pause at the top position. And if you feel yourself slumping, just go ahead and sit up tall and proud. Stay as tall as possible. Woo, good. All right, I think those hips need some stretching. So let's go ahead and get up to a standing position. We are going to do a single leg hip extension or straight leg lift to the back. So on your standing leg, I just want you to keep a slight knee bend. Feel free to hold on to the back of your chair, one foot slightly behind you, and you're gonna lift it off the floor, tap it down. Whoo, breaking a little sweat here. All right, so we're contracting through the glute. Lift up, squeeze. So notice we're keeping that controlled pace, and then you want to hold it for a squeeze. Good. At the top. It's not always about moving fast. Sometimes it's about getting that quality contraction. Work the muscle thoroughly. Lift, tap it down softly. And then, even though our upper torso, our upper body is still, we're trying to maintain that good spinal alignment, light arch or extension. There we go. All right, before we move on to the other side, let's just hold this for a stretch with our back leg straight. And then I'll do this so that you can see my front knee. We're gonna lunge it forward for a bent knee. All right, and then let's go ahead and work over to the other side. So slight knee bend, I think this will be a better view for you. And you can even position your chair like this. We're lifting up, tap it straight down, lift, and down. All right, so we're just tapping our foot to the floor at the toes, leg is straight, and then we're trying to get our knee to come up as high as possible behind us. So that's what creates that hip extension, which means our thigh is coming behind us relative to our torso. So because we're leaning forward, it's lifting more up, up. Good, keep it up. There you go. The stretch will feel good. All right, there we go. And then go ahead and let that back foot come down with your heel touching the floor. Back leg is straight, and then just bend forward on that front knee. Try to position your torso upright, and then just lunge forward on that bent knee. All right, looking good. Sometimes I even also like to add an overhead arm reach on this pose, just to give yourself that lengthening from arm to leg. But for now, we're gonna return to our chair. On this move, we're going to reach one leg out to the side, so position yourself so that you can get in this position here. From here, we're gonna do a side crunch. So other leg is bent, stable as possible, contract to the side, lengthen. So the more you're able to lengthen like this, bigger contraction you're gonna get. All right. And if you feel anything cramping, just kind of shake it out. Takes a while to kind of warm up to it. Squeeze, maybe even start with a smaller motion, and then gradually get bigger as you go. Woo, this one's tough. Squeeze. I think it's just a sign. I'm not doing it as often. Good. Good. Now I gotta admit, core is one of not my favorite area to train, which is why it's so effective to target it in a workout like this. All right, so we're gonna do the other side. So let's do lengthen up at the leg, and then I'm gonna ask you to reach up and over. So that's what it looks like. Now for me personally, I'm gonna modify this by only doing the lower half, but we're still getting that side crunch at the waist. So think about bringing your rib toward your hip and continue to bring your elbow down toward your knee. Good, how are you doing? Squeeze. Let your breath come out with it. Good, told you we'd focus on core. 360 all the way around. Woo! Ooh, that feels good. Like it, you know when it kind of hurts, but it feels good. Good, you know it's working. Woo! All right, let's go ahead and bring it back up. So next up, we're gonna do some rapid punches to the front. Once again, I'm modifying to only do one side, but here's what it looks like. Stay as upright as you can. And then now we're gonna pick up the speed. So punches about chest level. So go ahead and continue to alternate like that. I just have a healing shoulder here. All right, so the key with this, move it all the way from your upper back. So reaching forward as far as you can, turning the fist in. So keep that pace. Believe it or not, we're also working through our abdomen. So by reaching forward. So there's just that slight twist, that slight rotation at the waist. Don't let yourself slump down. Woo, keep it tall, keep up that pace. Feeling the heart rate and breath rising. And go ahead and relax. And then before we move on, let's go ahead and hold it for a stretch. So reach one arm behind you. And then we're gonna look down toward the opposite shoulder. So just stretching that levator, which is that area from the base of our skull down to our upper back. So that's basically the back of your neck. And we can also add a little bit of a hand assistance. Ooh, that one got my heart rate up. All right, other side, go ahead and reach one arm behind comfortably. I don't want you feeling any pain. And then we're gonna do chin down to the opposite shoulder. And then you can also add your hand for a little extra assistance. Okay, we're gonna finish with what many people consider the king of lower body exercises, or the queen, if you will. We're gonna have our feet semi-wide and we're coming up for a stand and we're squatting down. So we're coming down for that squat. So we can use the chair here. I just want you to kind of just don't sit all the way till you're relaxed. Kind of hover or kind of tap down and come up. All right. You're gonna notice that the chair allows you to focus on that sitting down and back motion, which is the proper way to do a squat. You want some balance between hip and knee. All right, feet stay in contact with the floor. And you'll notice I have my arms in front just to create that counterbalance. As the hips sit down and back, the torso leans forward just slightly, the arms in front. And then the final challenge, if you are able to keep your arms up overhead or slightly in front, we're doing that overhead squat. So I'll keep one arm up, sit down and back. All right, good. Our Palo Alto manager, Nick, is on vacation this week, but I know this is one of the moves he excels at. The overhead squat, good, even with a bar raised above his head. Whew. Something to work up to. All right, everyone. That is it for today's workout. Thank you so much for joining. Tell me how you feel in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Hello. Thanks, Christy. You're welcome. Bye, Lisa. Oh, yeah, Nicole.
Take care.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye, Ellie. Good to hear. I know I'm like way down here. All right.